All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Startup School. So excited to have you here with us this morning. We're in for 20 minutes of fearful fun as we talk about the 5 entrepreneurial fears and how to face them directly. It's going to be a goodie, and as I promised you, we're going to have a little nugget as part of this presentation that is going to significantly change your life, help you be successful, guaranteed. And I'm going to have that near the end of the presentation, which is part of one of the fears. I've also got my great friend, my great colleague, my buddy Rochelle here. We had some technical difficulties, and so Rochelle is going to advance the slides for me, which is kind of great. It works out great for me anyway, because I'm naturally lazy. So she's going to advance those slides, and we're going to have the presentation done in a way that's really cool, because we wanted to make sure that we continued onto it. So today's Startup School is, of course, brought to you by Coaching by RockSTARS and our good friends at Startup Canada. And we're going to be talking about 5 entrepreneurial fears and how to face them. So we can go on to the next slide, please, my friend. So my name's Rivers Corbett, and I've been a serial entrepreneur for over 20 years. I'm a founding board member of Startup Canada, and really lucky to win the draw to be the host of the Startup Canada podcast, where we every single week interview amazing entrepreneurs across the planet. And been with, as I say, Startup Canada since day one. Love their journey, and they are very special. So as I said, I've been a serial entrepreneur. And on to the next slide. One of the companies that I've launched is called Coaching by RockStars. It's a national coaching team that has got amazing resources to be able to specifically help those that are in the startup space. We have got a partnership with Startup Canada, and we're pleased to launch that actually today officially as part of this webinar. So really proud of that. Coaching by RockStars is really honored to be part of it. So diving into fear number 1, we got a 20-minute deal going on. The first one is, am I ready to be an entrepreneur? And you know, as an entrepreneur, as a coach with Coaching by RockStars, I get asked this question a lot, people that are in that initial stage. And the first thing that goes through my head is, remember when we were kids and we wanted to try out hockey, we wanted to try out dance, we wanted to try out piano and so on. Well, it didn't really stop us from trying it out, because what we did is we said, okay, I'll try it and see what comes about it, and then if I like it, then I'll stick with it. And that's really my answer for that fear, is for you to dip your toe into the scene. Take 30 days, take 60 days, and really immerse yourself into the ecosystem. Hang out with the folks at Startup Canada. Hang out with your startup community wherever you happen to live across the country. Read books, listen to podcasts. Ultimately, by every single day having a touch point, you will determine whether or not this is the ecosystem that you want to hang out in. And you may not, at the end of your journey, your 30 to 60 days, say, I want to be an entrepreneur. That's okay. But you may also say, I still want to hang out in the entrepreneurial community. And that's okay also. The key is that, like when you were a kid, give it a try. See if what you enjoy or part of is really something that resonates with you. That's fear number 1. On to fear number 2. Fear number 2 is rejection. And this is a really valid fear. People don't get involved with being an entrepreneur because they fear rejection. Well, I got to ask you one question. Has anybody on this presentation, on this webinar, ever had to deal with rejection? Raise your hand. I'm raising my hand. I've had to deal with it a lot. Whether it's personal, whether it's professional, whether it's the cat that doesn't like what you're doing to it, whether it's a buddy or a girlfriend that doesn't really like what's going on, whether it's something at school, whether it's a relationship, whether you're in business now and someone said, no, you can't do it. You see, the funny thing is that we face rejection all the freaking time, but we never really stop living. Because let me ask you this, of all those rejections that you've faced in your life, Has it stopped you from continuing on? Did you really, after you rejected that first time, just say, that's it, I'm out, I'm going to the woods, I'm going to live with the bears? Well, actually, you can't live with the bears because they might reject you too. So the point is, ladies and gentlemen, is rejection is a part of life. You have faced it many times before. You have survived. You are a hero. You are a heroine in your life. Rejection is just going to be part of it. And once you practice it more and more with business, you are going to be just fine. So it's okay. It's going to happen because you're already trained in that particular area. Okay, on to fear number 3. Fear number 3 is no money. Now, this is, again, a very, very valid fear that people face. And it's unfortunately because our society really positions that you need money in order to move forward in your business. Well, I can tell you that right now I run a business where I only pay $300 a month to run that business. I run other business where it took me $50,000 to get started. The point is that if your idea is good, if your opportunity is good, then you will be able to have the opportunity to collect people and resources around you who will support your idea. The other thing, when I started one of my businesses called the Chef Group many years ago, I started with a $3,000 credit line. So that's another way in which you can get money. You can get money through your Visa cards, your MasterCards, your credit line, friends, family, all kinds of resources that are out there. And the key, that's what's important for this money aspect, by the way, is that you want to make sure you surround yourself with money you can have access to when you need it. So as an entrepreneur, I'm very, very encouraging of people to make sure they round up various sources of income in advance should they happen to need it. No money is no problem. There's tons of it. Steve Jobs started in a darn garage, for goodness sakes. No money, it's about a good idea with some good opportunity and return on investment. You will find lots of people that want to help you and get that. Okay, fear number 4. Fear number 4 is I can't sell. Well, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have a business unless you have sold something. Pure and simple. And so if you can't sell, if you're not comfortable selling, then that's okay. Accept that, appreciate that, embrace that particular issue, and move on to the point where you start to surround yourself with your team of people that can sell. One of the biggest things that, when I'm coaching or teaching or presenting in front of high school students in particular, I really position to them the whole aspect that team is one of the most important criteria in order to be successful in business. And in doing that, I say the example to them, hey, who was the goalie of the Canadian Winter Olympic team that won the gold medal in Sochi? And the answer is Carey Price. Well, I then turn around and I say to them, hey, how many goals did Carey Price score in that tournament? And the answer is none. And I said, well, how can they win the tournament? Well, guys like Sidney Crosby and Toews were people that were scoring goals. The point is in your team, if you cannot sell, if you are not comfortable in doing that, and you're recognizing that selling is important, then find somebody who can help you by being that salesperson to move along and help your team be successful. That's really, really important. You've got to have sales in your business or you are not in business. So that's how you face fear number 4. Let's go on to fear number 5. All right, fear number 5. I don't like to fail. Wow, that's and actually this is the number 1 reason why entrepreneurs, why startups will not get into business, because they fear failure. Well, again, I hate to break it to you, ladies and gentlemen, but you have failed in life before, and you have continued on with your journey of your life, even though you have failed. And again, when I speak to people to really drive home the whole concept of failure, I always say to them, hey, you know what? Put up your hand when you have gone through school from grades 1 to grade 12. Have you've got 100% on everything? Did you get 100% on every question, every math test, every English test, everything you did in your home? Everything was perfect. And the answer, of course, is no. You didn't do that, but you kept going. Failure is actually a great way to learn. There's an old saying that said the guy was given the opportunity to hang out with the person that was successful and to hang out with the person that wasn't successful. And they said, I would rather hang out with the person that failed because that person really, really understands the lessons of life and they have learned from that. The other thing is, believe it or not, is that most successful, I'm going to say 99 successful people who have been in business have failed at some level, some point catastrophes along the way and just before they ultimately became epic successes. So failure, it's just part of the journey. Embrace it, love it, and learn from it and say, oh my gosh, thank goodness I failed, because you're going to learn from that. Now, what I promised you when we're going to get involved with the webinar is part of failure, though, is a strategy for success. And I promised you when we started our journey of this dialogue that I would provide you with a nugget, a gold nugget that would help you deal with one of the fears along the way. And that golden nugget is something that I have embraced quite extensively during my 20-year career as an entrepreneur. And when I have embraced it, I've always been successful. And I'm talking not only from a success from a personal perspective, but also from a professional perspective. And when I haven't done this, I have actually had a struggle in business. And so what is that magic golden nugget? What is that golden piece of advice? It's it's centered around one word, and that one word is Trump, the word zag. There we go. That was a little anticlimactic there in the transfer. Anyway, I have a saying that you need to zag when everybody else zigs. You need to be different. You need to be unique. You need to be innovative in the way that you approach business. One of my businesses is called Relish Gourmet Burgers. Now, the burger industry is fraught with all kinds of competition. And so when we started our business 6 years ago, we had to look at doing it in a way that everybody else wasn't. Go forward 6 years, we now have 7 locations across the country, and we continue to grow our small little burger business. You see, when you stand out and you do things differently, when you ask yourself the question, is that a zag? Then you start to get noticed and people want to connect with you. You see, it's totally the difference than when you were in high school. When you were in high school, it's all about being part of a clique. It's all about being a connector. But in business, it's about being a leader in your industry. It's about taking a position in your marketplace that nobody else takes. It's about making it a part of your culture professionally and personally. That's when you start to succeed, is when you take on this whole philosophy of zagging when everybody else zigs. Now, the key is you got to live it every single day. And when you start to do that, magic will happen in your business, and it will happen in your business. So, your business and your profession and your personal life. So zag while everybody else zigs. I guarantee you success in your life. Key is you got to do it consistently. All right, so it leads me to a quote that I thought was really, really cool to start to wrap up this presentation, and it is so true. And I've been on both sides of this. Fear either moves you or stops you from following dreams. Now, imagine, just imagine if you got to the end of your life and you had all these dreams that you didn't want to pursue. And one of them was to become an entrepreneur and to really try it, begin that process. But fear prevented you from moving forward. How shameful would that be? And if you have kids, this is another thing I always like to say to people when they're being challenged with things that they're fearful of. I say, what would you tell your kids? And of course, you always would tell your kids to face the fear and move on. And that's where I'm challenging you to do. So face the fears. You sure can. And you've actually even got a better chance now because you know the top fears that are in place. So on that note, Startup Canada and I are pleased to introduce you to something that we feel can be very, very beneficial for your business. It's called the Rockstar Startup Academy, and it is full of all kinds of resources, all kinds of methodologies. Yes, it includes group coaching going forward. Also, it is a online coaching model on steroids. And believe me, Startup Canada did their due diligence in making sure that it really reflected, one, a value proposition for you, our members from coast to coast, and it delivered on the promise of helping to make you successful. And of course, we've positioned it at a great price so that you can make it affordable. We appreciate affordability is important and timing is important, but also effectiveness is important. So we're really pleased to announce through our partnership, Coaching by Rockstars and Startup Canada, the Rockstar Startup Academy. And we invite you to go to the website to check it out and see what it's all about. We just go to the next slide, please. Finish that up. You just go to coachingbyrockstars.com. That's me with my Rockstar shirt on, actually working with one of my clients, Jeff Alpow. But you go to coachingbyrockstars.com. We've positioned the value of the Rockstar Startup Academy there. Startup Canada and I have put the price to a point that is so freaking cheap, affordable, and so you can get started very easy. And well, I just say go to coachingbyrockstars.com. We're honored to be a partner with Startup Canada. We're honored to be part of this webinar series going forward. We're going to do these every month for the next 6 months, amongst all kinds of other things. And other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have an incredible day. Here's to your great success, and there's no need to be fearful. You want to be successful? Come on, let's go be successful together. Talk to you later. Have a great day.